Okay, welcome to this month's book review. All right, so this was actually recommended to me by a friend of mine, and so I bought it and read it and thought I'd review it. Beyond Dreaming by Gene Hart. Now, this is, compared to this is about astral projection. Well, let's actually rather say out-of-body experiences. Okay, I'm getting to the point where I actually prefer to separate the two terms because astral projection holds a lot more um, arena, a lot more. Not really sure what the word is, but out of body experiences is a very specific thing. Astral projection goes a bit further, goes into different realms and things like that. Now, beyond that. So very short book actually. It is only, let me just get to the end here, 157 pages. So it is very straight to the point. It's not long ramblings like a lot of the other books on the topic. It is the cover itself. I just want to talk about the actual quality of the printing itself. It's kind of cheap. Compared to other covers, this cover is very thin and it tends to warp. Can't really see it that well now, but when I was reading it, that's kind of like the warping effect that you get. But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the price of the book is fine compared to its quality. Kind of matches it. It's not a very expensive book. Let's put it that way. But I mean, I have seen worse. I remember when I started printing my own books, the laminate on the cover actually started to shrink, and it was pulling the whole cover inwards. So yeah, I have seen worse. Let's put it that way. But for its price, it's fine. I just wanted to note that though. Okay, so let's have a look. I do believe it's self-published. And this specific edition is 2021. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any big names, publishing names, or publishing houses. So it looks like it is self-published. And yeah, no, it's a good book. I think some of the things that I wanted to actually point out, he goes very much into this idea that he's written this book and he's trying to get it out, all the information out there as cheaply as he possibly can. So that's why the price of the book is so low. And it's not a bad price. Just double check Amazon pricing here. It's $14 for the paperback. That's average, not terribly bad. I mean, it's a very short book as well, so. But because it's self-printed, you'll probably find that it does push the price up a little bit more because of the printing costs when you're doing like single prints and things like that. But he goes on about it quite a bit, and it does start to feel a bit egoic, like he's trying to say I'm such a good person because I'm giving all this stuff away for free and or as free as I can possibly do, and give it away and things like that. I mean, his Kindle version, which is like $5.74, there's not really much to conversion from the paperback to an EPUB version or Kindle version. But anyway, he goes on about ego, and it just feels very egoic. But stick around to when I start doing the review and stuff, because I'm going to show you where you can actually get this book free from the author himself. So it's not like any copyright infringement or anything like that. He is actually giving the book away for free, and the audiobook. So you don't even have to go onto Amazon to buy it. Obviously, I do appreciate if you go buy the paperback from the link that I provide, because I get a commission. But if you just want to read the book and you enjoy the book and you want to go buy the paperback then to have it on your library, on your shelf, then that's a different story. But so when I was reading it initially, I thought very ego-based, trying to push his own agenda, etc., etc. And then I found out that he's given it away for free. So that kind of changed that perspective. Sorry, let me just go back to the contents. So, it goes through a lot of the basic stuff, the following his own exercises, his own diary, and things like that. Actually, let me go through to the screen for a while. I just want to go through the Amazon reviews and show you some links that you can go to find the author and the book itself. So let's just do that quickly before I get back into the book. Okay, so let's start with Amazon, but as always, I'm going to add a link to the book on Amazon, to the paperback, and if you do go purchase that, I do appreciate that, and I thank you. I get a small commission, but as I did mention, there is actually a free version, which I'm going to get to just now. I'll show you where you can get it. So anyway, let's start with Amazon. Have a look at some of the reviews and things like that. Let me just get down to the reviews itself. Okay, so 4.8 out of 5, 292 global ratings, 86% 5-star. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So it looks like people are generally happy with the book and the contents. But that's to be expected. It's a good book, as I said. But I'll get into some more specifics just now regarding that. But let's go and have a look at this 2-star rating just to see some more negative opinions. To see what people have to say. Usually, quite often this is just people being silly, but sometimes there's some useful information. While I can tell the author has good intentions and is a practitioner, the first 60 or so pages are torturous. Reads like the ramblings of a diary. While he makes some good points, it's the first book in a long time where I felt laboured in reading it. For those interested in OBEs, aka astral projection, I'd say Robert Bruce is okay, but gets too convoluted. His astral projection book is encyclopedic. It's William Bullman to start with, especially Secret of the Soul, first as an overview, then the rest. Good luck on your adventures. Don't really agree with that myself. I mean, it's actually a very short book, and it does get kind of straight to the point. The idea of it being the ramblings of a diary, that's a lot of the OBE or astral projection books are written that way because it comes from personal experience, and people like to read personal experiences to try and understand what they're actually going to be experiencing themselves. So I definitely wouldn't agree with that. Did not really get into the subject matter and was too philosophical. Okay, that's a useless one, obviously. Alright, so let's go back to here and go to the 3-star. Oops, we're skipping around all over the place. Here, 3-star. And here we have, I've read other books on the topic, and though the author does a good job of covering the basic information, he really should have hired a better editor because it is full of grammatical errors. Mind you, I am not one to look for errors when I read, but this was bad. I didn't find it that bad. I think maybe I have the revised edition. Let me just double check. No, this doesn't seem. This seems to be the first edition. I'll check just now with the free version itself because that is the revised edition. I don't remember reading that many errors, grammatical errors anyway. Maybe the author Gene Hart read this and that's why he created the revised edition. I don't know, but anyway, to the subject at hand, pointless. Stream of consciousness, informal musings rather than cogent messaging. I got nothing from the book, not recommended. Well, that's because it's a subjective topic. These bad opinions are not very good opinions, in my opinion, if I can say all of those opinions. Let's just have a look at the other one is the 4-star. I bought this book as a Kindle version. It was a fast read. Wait a minute. Um, Therefore, I do believe that the book could have been significantly shorter. Bloody hell, it's already too short. Although, irregardless of the length of the book, I did find that it contained the seeds of highly truthful and integral truths about reality. I could see and appreciate that the author was familiar with Samael Aun Weor's work, as he reiterated similar points as we all, being that the majority of the world, including ourselves, live our day, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Uh, These are, I mean, these are 4-star ratings. They're going to be positive anyway. So I think that's kind of it. All right. So that's the 5-star ratings, which are obviously going to be, all praise and everything else. So we've got lots and lots of those. Okay. So looks like good stuff for now. Let's just have a look at some other stuff. Alright, so his YouTube channel, if you want to follow that, he's got a hell of a good following, 264,000 subscribers, but it is Astral Doorway, if you want to go check out the YouTube channel, and it is very much Gnosticism based. He is obviously a Gnostic, which kind of adds to the the understanding of where he's coming from when he's writing the book, because, as I said, this is a very spiritual leaning in the book itself. But yeah, very Gnostic based. I just want to go over to, he's got a Patreon as well, if you're interested in joining that. He's got 2 tiers, $3, which is a student, and a $6, which is student plus love. Yeah, so it's got that. Again, it focuses a lot on Gnosticism itself. Mystery and practice of discerning dreams from astral projections. Free download. I don't know why it's behind a paywall, because I'll show you just now what you can get it. Yeah, so anyway, there's the Patreon. Now, if you go to his Instagram, astral.doorway, and he's used the same icon or graphic for all of the profile images. So again, very Gnostic based, but if you go over here, free PDF, this takes you to drive google.com, and we then have the book. And it's the full version. Just want to check this. Oh no, it's the same. He didn't put anything saying that it was revised. Copy is just put 2024, which is, no, mine's 2021. Okay, so yeah, my copy is obviously not the revised edition. All right, but apart from that, you can also go and get, well, it's on YouTube, but there's a link to the actual audiobook itself if you want to listen to that. So yeah, as I said, he kind of had this idea that, or he presents this idea that he wants to give this away, as the information away, as cheaply as possible, and he did stick to his word. It wasn't any kind of ego-based, driven kind of thing, so good for him. Okay, so back to the book itself. So let's just have a quick on. So this first section obviously is where he's getting into specific things, specific aspects of doing the journeying, doing the out of body experiences, and things you might just want to look out for when you're doing these practices. And he's given some personal experiences, also given some exercises you can do, reality checks. Actually, the reality checks, I'll get to that just now, but the reality checks in here are quite good compared to others. This does have a spiritual leaning to it. Now, if you go and read like Robert Monroe that I previously had a look at, that is very scientifically based. And I actually appreciate, when it comes to out of body experiences, I actually appreciate that approach. The very scientific, remove all the spiritual stuff. Obviously, there's some influences that may come in because he is a person from the Western societies, and therefore he's going to have some Christian influence. But Robert Monroe is not inherently a spiritual or religious person. So his approach to the whole topic is very scientific. His experimentations, his record keeping, and all of that, extremely scientific. Whereas this becomes a bit more spiritual based, and as we can see, it comes from the basis of Gnosticism itself. So that kind of gives you an idea of the direction that the intent actually takes. So I just wanted to, now that we've gone through all of that, so just some things I just wanted to point out, some criticisms and some good things really. So the reality checks. The usual reality checks when you're going through these books. I've read loads and loads of books on astral projection, by the way. It's one of those topics I've always battled with, and so I just try and get as much information as I possibly can. But the reality checks are usually things like, every hour or something, just check your hand, look at your hands for a while, and if it starts to change and morph, then you know you're dreaming. But that's kind of like the reality check. Or try and push your hand through a solid wall, or something like that. So if you can't do it, so if it's something you can't do physically, but all of a sudden you can do it, then you're in a dream. But this reality check was actually pretty good. And it goes through actually examining the reality check itself. Alternatively, you can use the following reality check when questioning your reality. Am I in the non-physical or am I in the astral? And I actually prefer that because we when we do these reality checks, we ask ourselves, are we dreaming or are we not dreaming? And there is a lot of inclusion or quotes. Some bits about Toltec Warrior Path and Carlos Castaneda's books in here, but so that obviously also has an influence in the writing and the approach itself. But the idea that we are always dreaming. There's even if we are awake in this physical world that we interact with, we are still dreaming from that spiritual basis. Okay, so I actually kind of like this, and because you're watching this channel, you probably do have a more of a spiritual than rather just a pure scientific approach to your own practice itself. But yeah, so I kind of like that idea of asking yourself if you're in the non-physical or if you're in the astral, because either way you're going to be dreaming. All right, so I kind of like that. And there are also things like I've started stretching, trying to pull my thumb to see if it stretches, because the astral body will stretch. Now, one slight criticism. This particular paragraph, the introduction to this chapter, the breath, silence, and darkness, the reality to which these words point to, are comprehended in deep meditation. The Hebrew word nefesh, literally meaning breath. Wrong. The Hebrew word meaning breath, and also refers to part of the soul, maybe that's where you got this from, is ruach, not nefesh. Nefesh refers to the lower self. Ruach refers to the middle self, where the lungs are, and where we find breath, air, and things like that. But literally, ruach actually translates to breath. In fact, I'm going to just have a quick look at some quick definitions. So, ruach, let's see, the word ruach had at all times meant wind, but later came to refer to the whole range of a person's emotions, intellectual and volitional life. It even designated ghosts. Let's have a look. The Hebrew ruach means wind, breath, or spirit. Okay, the corresponding Greek word is pneuma. So that's definitely ruach in reference to breath. And nefesh, the word nefesh originally meant neck or throat, and later came to imply the vital spirit or anima. in later sense. So that's a definitely incorrect. Just bear that in mind. And being he seems to be a follower of Samael Ornwaya, and that's got very, apart from very Gnostic, also very, very Kabbalistic in approach, from what I can tell anyway. So that's something that should be known, and not something you should put in a book without even thinking about it. Here we can see Gnostic, definitely a Gnostic influence. Gnostics believe Dante from Dante's Inferno did actually visit the astral and explored these lower realms. The nine circles of hell and all of that stuff. So, when he's talking about the lower realms and the upper realms and things like that, the entire worldview, the entire construct is from this Gnostic perspective. So something you might want to, again, bear in mind when reading. It might not equate with your own worldview, but that's okay. We all have different worldviews. You can still get good information from the book. This I thought was a bit ignorant, actually. Some people get stuck in this state because they feel fear, but if they simply stop indulging in fear, they will see that they can simply use their will to separate from the physical body. I think indulging in fear is a bit abrasive. It's a bit, I don't know, don't really like that. But anyway, okay, so that's the book, Beyond Dreaming by Gene Hart. As I said, good book if you are a beginner. If this topic is something you haven't explored before, you're completely new to it, this is possibly a good introduction. It's a short book, it's straight to the point, it has some personal experience in it, and it has all the various exercises you might need to help you get you started. But some inconsistencies here and there, but that's okay. As long as we know where they are and what they are, we can get around that. But from here, I would go on to something like Robert Monroe or Robert Bruce, and people like that, and get that very kind of. It is a very scientific, especially Robert Monroe. That very, I think Sylvain Muldoon as well is also that very kind of scientific approach. It speaks about the spiritual because this is obviously venturing into various spiritual planes, but it is kind of that scientific approach and actually documenting things properly, doing proper experimentation to see if this method actually does work or it does not work, because it could just be a fluke, But if you test it properly over and over again and you have various different people actually doing the testing as well, then you've got something that can actually work for a variety of different people. So, but the exercises and the approach in this book is very much based on what everybody else is talking about anyway. It's just a repeat, just some differences here and there. For example, the reality checking, slight difference. Does expand on it a little bit, which I appreciated. I thought was a great inclusion. But yeah, good book, great book for beginners. Good book overall. If you have read lots and lots of books on OBE, you're not really going to get much from this, to be honest with you. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to leave it up there, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good one. Cheers for now.